Buh. And there we go. Okay. So I just wanted to wait a second for some people to come in. What's going on, gang? UFC Wordle, man. This is my favorite thing to do. Let's start off with the daily take of the day. So, where I guess it starts off with fighters. Rate each fighter from A to F tier. After each rating, fighter, see what the community voted for. So let's start off with Yuri Prochazka. So I imagine the majority of the MMA community is going to have Yuri A or B for sure. I'm of the opinion, it depends on what you're talking. For his division, he's A tier, right? Him, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. Like, they're all either, like, you know, Alex Pereira's probably A tier, and I'd say Yuri and Magomed might be B or A tier, right? But the thing is, not all A tier fighters, not all B tier fighters, and so on, are created equally. So, this kind of comes down to your own personal preference, but let's just say it's for their own division. I would put Yuri in A tier, right? Yeah. I figured as much. Mostly due to the fact that, like, there's just nobody that can really handle this guy outside of Alex Pereira, right? He seems to beat everybody else. He defies all logic. Now, I do think that there are a couple fighters in light heavyweight, including Alex Pereira, that would absolutely beat Yuri. Of course, we know Alex would, because he already did it once. What's going on there, Bokamoso? Hope you're having a good night. I honestly think that Yuri would lose to someone like Magomed Ankalaev, but just due to the styles, and I think he could lose to Carlos Solberg. But outside of that, like, you know, Khalil Roundtree, Jan Blachowicz, I think he beats all these guys quite soundly. Next up, we got Corey Sandhagen. This is an interesting one because I actually like Corey. I'm actually quite a huge fan of him. He is someone who's extremely technical and extremely high level with everything he does. Everything he does has a purpose, and if you ever, like, watch his interviews and watch the way he talks about fighting and stuff, he is, like, such a smart guy, even though, like, he doesn't act like it. Like, he even says himself, he is not a smart guy. But you can tell from the way he thinks about MMA and stuff, with how technical he is with everything he does. He is very intelligent. I think that the thing that's missing from Corey is, I don't want to say he doesn't have killer instinct, because he does, but I think that sometimes he can kind of be a little bit too artsy with it. And I think that he was trying to be too much of a perfectionist against Marat, right? We saw in that first round how Corey was fighting versus the rest of the fight. The first round, he was absolutely sticking to the game plan. I could tell immediately what he was trying to do. He wanted to land that left hook because he knew that that was a weakness of Marat. He's very intelligent with very high fight IQ, you know, chopping down the legs. He had a very good first round. Then when he got rocked is the point that everything switched, and he immediately kind of fought how he did against Umar. And I think if Corey fully believes in himself and doesn't allow himself to get in his own head too much and hold himself back, I think he could be A tier. But as of right now, I have to put him in the B tier slot. C tier is a bit harsh, so I gotta be honest. Like, C tier is a bit harsh. Like, A tier, I don't even necessarily disagree with it. Like, even the 4%, I don't think that that's the worst take in the world. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever heard. It's actually early, boy. You're about to go to school, man. Good luck with that. I ain't got school no more. Next up, we got Dricus du Plessis. Dricus is a very good fighter, but he's a very goofy fighter. Like, people have said for a long time, him versus RDR would be the battle of the goofies. And I absolutely do agree with this. So, I would say that Dricus, I don't know, because when you talk about the middleweight division, it's not overly stacked, but your champion's Khamzat Chimaev, who would go in the A tier. But DDP is not on the level of Khamzat. Like, nobody's on the level of Khamzat. So I think, can he beat guys like Nasruddin Imavov? I don't think he beats Imavov. He obviously beats Strickland. I think he would beat Izzy again. You know, I think DDP is a solid B tier, right? And the majority of people who would put him at 44, the 44% that put him in A tier, whereas I would guarantee you it's because he was champion. But based on his division with Khamzat Chimaev in there, I think Khamzat's the only A tier fighter in the division right now, until we find someone who can keep up with him. So I think B tier is probably the best pick for him. Let's go on Monkey King. You think that Dricus is a high C? I think that DDP is a solid B tier. I don't think he's on the level of Khamzat, but UFC figures Michael Bisping. So, are we talking about Michael Bisping as a fighter or as a commentator, right? It says UFC figures. So, I'm assuming it's based off commentating. I don't want to be mean or anything, but Michael Bisping is not a great commentator. I find that he has extreme biases towards anybody who comes out of the UK region, which, like, I get it. It's his people, whatever. I don't want to crap on him too much. And, like, sometimes I think he's smart when it comes to fighting. I think he obviously understands fighting. But I think that sometimes he does kind of have his own biases. And a lot of times he'll have to catch himself being biased and go, well, listen, the other guy is trying. It's like he kind of seems to, like, sometimes overcompensate because of how biased he could sound in the commentary booth at times. What's going on, Emmett? So I kind of... I don't think he's F tier. I think there are good qualities about Bisping. I think he brings on not only good energy, but good entertainment. We all know that Bisping knows how to entertain a crowd. And I would say he's D tier. Really. It's like purely in terms of commentating. In terms of commentating, he's D tier. In terms of everything else, sure, you want to say A, B, or C. But if we're talking about in terms of commentary, he's D tier. So, what's the topic right now? So this next topic is just as a fight, Khabib versus McGregor. So as a fight, not overly competitive, but are we talking in terms of entertainment? Are we talking about in terms of how big the fight was? Are we factoring everything in terms of the drama going into it, or just as a fight? If you don't look at any of the press conferences, if you don't look at any of the media stuff, and you just look at this as a fight, how good of a fight was it? It wasn't the greatest fight of all time. The first round was pretty boring for the most part. Like, we saw Conor's improvements in the wrestling where early on he was really able to stuff Khabib's takedowns, and that was partially due to the fact that that wrestling exchange took place in open space where Khabib is notorious for struggling. It was really cool to see that scramble. And then after that takedown, let's be honest, we don't remember a single thing that happened in the first round after that takedown. He took Conor down, held him up against the fence, did like 0 damage, right? But then the second round was probably the most famous round of the entire history of the UFC, dropping Conor, getting in the stack guard, right? He was literally standing over top of Conor and just grounding and pounding, smashing. And Conor's tough. He didn't give up at all, and then he went on to win the third round. He was winning the fourth until the point of the takedown and the submission attempt. As a fight, just as a fight by itself, no post-fight antics, no nothing, I would say it was a C-tier fight. C-tier. Possibly B-tier. A-tier fight, the only reason why people say it's an A-tier fight is because I guarantee you a lot of people who put that just don't watch a whole lot of MMA, in my opinion. It's possible. As a fight on its own, it wasn't overly competitive, but it was somewhat entertaining. So I think C-tier, B-tier, one of those two is possibly fair. Joe Rogan after a tiny little punch. Oh, he's wobbled. John Jones invented the spinning back kick. He's losing because he did not train. Yeah, whatever. Joe Rogan's kind of an MMA NPC. I think he used to be really good. I'm moving on to Macy Barber, the female fighter of this. Okay. As a fighter, I don't know. She's okay. She's very reliant on, like, her physical attributes and her size for the flyweight division. And, like, she's not a great fighter. I don't know. In terms of her weight class, she probably gets a C tier. The reason why I put her in C tier, is because I think that she's not, like, on the level of people like Valentina Shevchenko, which is like A tier, right? And then you got B tier, which is like Erin Blanchfield, Natalia Silva. And then you got like the C tier, which is like Macy Barber, Alexa Grasso possibly. Although Alexa Grasso is probably B tier, but you get the point. So I think C tier is a solid place for someone like Macy Barber. And that's it for the take of the day. Let's move on. This should be pretty interesting. So connections. What's your connections? How to play. You're given 16 fighters. Your job is to sort them into 4 groups based on hitting connection. Tap fighters to select them. You could select up to 4. Hit submit to lock in your guess. Okay. So let's take a look. Peter Yan, Bo Nickel, Tom Aspinall, Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, Kayla Harrison, Pantoja, Nunes, O'Malley, Usman, Makachev, Gamrot, Masvidal, Lawler, Gaethje, Whitaker. Okay. I would say... Okay. I actually don't know. Okay, let's go with Usman, Gaethje, Covington, and Bo Nickel off the hop. I think that would be based on wrestling, right? Is there 4 different groups? Okay. No, okay. Wait, find all 4 groups before you run out of hearts. Okay, maybe not. Hold on, let's slow down here. So my first thought was like Leon Edwards and Tom Aspinall, people who are from the UK, but there's no more UK fighters on here to my knowledge. Okay. So I would say no, I don't know. This is actually kind of tricky, if I'm gonna be honest. So let's say what? Usman, Masvidal, Covington, Leon Edwards. No, that's not a category. I was thinking all welterweights. Okay. I actually don't know. I want to go with my initial pick of Bo Nickel, Kamaru Usman, Justin Gaethje, and Colby Covington. Right? On the basis that they are American wrestlers who wrestled in college. But, damn it. Crap. I really don't know. Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley. No, I was thinking bantamweights. I don't know. Hold on a second. Replace Gaethje with Islam, you think? American Top Team. Oh, you might be right, actually. American Top Team, what? Is Robbie Lawler? Is it Jorge Masvidal? Colby Covington? Amanda Nunes? Are we being serious? You think I should... Oh, gosh. You'll get a little hint. Where's my little hint? Belt? What belt? You guys are not helping me at all here. You guys are... Oh, man. I don't know. There are 4 belts. I only have one health line left. What? You think, but there are 4 belts. Yeah, but what? Oh, you think? I don't know. Crap. I'm a casual. Wait. Bantamweights mixed. I did consider that. UFC welterweight champions. Oh, UFC interim champions and American Top Team. Pantoja? There were several American Top Team fighters there, though. I feel like I got scammed on that one. Nice try, Why would I share my results? It's literally just me getting mogged on. Okay. I feel like I got scammed now. Let's just move on to this. Guess the fighter from the following emojis. A lightning bolt. Who represents a lightning bolt? Who represents a lightning bolt? I'm so confused. It's going to be something completely silly that I'm not even going to be... Like, I'm probably blanking on a fighter who has a nickname like this. So... Should we just put in a guess? Should we just get kind of crazy with it? Let's go with, like... Alex Pereira. I don't think so, but... A dancer? I don't know. Ian Gary. BR? You think it's Gaethje? What does BR mean? Tell me that Justin Gaethje isn't even on here. No? Dang. I feel like I'm getting bamboozled here a little bit. Brazil? Oliveira? You think it's Oliveira? It could be. No. A plug-in cord. What? This is confusing me, bro. Thinking Brazil. No. I was gonna put Pantoja. It might be Paulo Costa. And a birthday. What? Do you guys have any clue? I don't know. I'm getting this really messed up so far. Let's go... Someone from Brazil, someone from Brazil. Who's a fighter from Brazil? With a power cord? Does Protez have kids? You think it's Protez? It's definitely not. Do they have Aldo? They don't. They do not have Jose Aldo. So, a Brazilian fighter... Michelle? You think it's Michelle Pereira? They don't have Michelle Pereira. Do you guys have anybody on this freaking website? So it's not Charles, it's not Paulo. It's not... No, they don't even have Pantoja, bro. This website's dumb. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Okay. No Jose Aldo. No Pantoja. I think it's Gene Silva. They don't even have Gene Silva, bro. Do you think Johnny Walker? Let's just go Johnny Walker. Let's just do it. It is Johnny Walker. That's actually insane. What, based off this, gave us the impression Johnny Walker? Whatever, we're moving on. That was completely silly. Who said this iconic quote? I'm not impressed by your performance, and I look forward to fighting you in the near future. It was obviously Conor McGregor. Come on. Come on. That was insanity. The picture. What fighter is this? Is that Kai Kara France? I mean, like... What does Johnny Walker have to do with any of those? I don't know. I don't know. So we got those. I already did the daily take. Right? Yeah. I don't know why it's not checkmarked. Okay, let's do a classic. Let's do a little classic one. You guys ready? I thought it was Derek Lewis. So did I. Okay. So let's go with a Russian fighter to start. Is it Khabib? If I get this on the first try, you guys have to subscribe. No. But he's a lightweight. With less than 29 fights. It's not Conor. No, because Conor's the same age. Okay. So let's think someone from Brazil, maybe. Charles Oliveira. I like to get the big countries out of the way first. So they're not from Brazil. Oh, Charles has had way more fights. I forgot. A lightweight who's not from Ireland, Russia, or Brazil. So we need an American. Who's like a young American fighter? Tony Ferguson. No, of course I'm kidding. A young American fighter in the lightweight division right now. Like, I think Justin Gaethje's they're the same age. But he's American. That's what I wanted to figure out. And he's newer than 2017? And he's a lightweight. So it's not Max Holloway. So then, who else are we thinking? We're thinking American here. We're thinking an American who is a lightweight newer than 2017. And less than 28 fights. American. Think American. Let's go with... I'm trying to think of someone who's currently ranked in the UFC rankings, but I don't want to Google it because that'd obviously be cheating. It's not... No, it wouldn't be Beneil Dariush. No. I want to say Michael Chandler, but he's older. I just want to make sure. So he debuted somewhere between 2017 and 2021. He's an American lightweight. We also have to consider the possibility that like they might not be in the UFC. I'm thinking Grant Dawson, but he's not here. So sometime between 2017, 2021. Should we just, like... Like, I'm trying to think on the rankings. I'm trying to think on the current lightweight rankings. Also, happy early birthday to the Diamond. Is it Dustin's birthday tomorrow? Dang, happy birthday, Dustin. Style clue available, yes. He's a striker. It's not Dustin. No, it can't be Dustin Poirier because he debuted way earlier. Like, way earlier. But a striker. Someone who's out of the rankings. You think it's Jalen Turner? It might be. Yeah, your money. Yeah, your money. Yeah, your money. I didn't even think of him, bro. I forgot about him. Average guesses today, 8.5. That one was 6. I think I already did the connections. Yeah, so it won't let me do it again. So we gotta play a little bit infinite mode. Okay. So let's go with... Again, we're gonna start off with like the usual, like pick a Brazilian, Russian, American fighter. So he's not from Brazil, but he's a featherweight or a bantamweight, and he debuted in 2011. Okay, so... But he's older than 40? Who's like a Russian or an American who's kind of a featherweight or kind of a bantamweight? Like, it wouldn't be like a Frankie Edgar, right? Why am I yelling? There we go. I don't think it's Frankie. But he is an American. So he's either a featherweight or a bantamweight who's an American and debuted in 2011. I'm thinking like a TJ Dillashaw. No? No? There's no Dillashaw? TJ Dillashaw, there it is. Oh, okay, 40. So everything's right but the age in the division. So he's a featherweight. He's an American featherweight. Dan Henderson was not ever a featherweight, man. Come on. We need you to really lock in here to give me these answers. Yeah, so a featherweight American, older than 40. He had 23 wins in 18 fights and debuted in 2011. I want to say Dustin. Right? No, he's only 38. Okay. No, I just want to make sure. So, if it's not him... No. I'm trying to think of, like, maybe, like... I was going to say, like, a Kenny Florian. Or, like... an American. I was going to say Ricardo Lamas. But older than 40, younger than 45. Like, do I just start typing out letters and hopefully I see something? Dustin's turning 37 tomorrow. That is kind of insane. Like, the way that they just do not care on this. Like, this website gets so much wrong. I swear, man. I swear they do. It's not going to be Max. My first thought was, what if it's Max? But, no, okay. What if I type A? Just, like, scroll through names. Is this cheating? Could be Anthony Pettis. It's not Anthony Pettis. Okay. Well, because he was a featherweight previously, right? So, let's go. Oh, you know, style clue available. He's a wrestler. It's not Frankie. Who? Chad Mendes. It has to be Chad. I'm pretty good at this. We'll do one more. Before we get into the next part of the stream. Alex Pereira. So this fighter is older than 39, and he's not from Brazil. Okay, let's go Dan Henderson. If it's Dan Henderson, you guys have to subscribe. But he's younger than 56. Okay. So he's not a light heavyweight or a middleweight. Oh, yeah, I guess I should have gotten that. Americans somewhere between the age of 39 and 56. This really helps me. Let's go Frankie Edgar. Younger than 45, but he debuted in 2011. Okay. It's not Anthony Pettis, right? Older than 39. Okay. Could it be like Stipe? He's not a heavyweight, not a light heavyweight, not a middleweight. He's not a featherweight, lightweight, bantamweight. What is he a fly? Is it Demetrius Johnson? As soon as I saw it wasn't any of these weight classes, I'm like, it has to be DJ. It has to be DJ. Oh my gosh, that was freaking stressful to watch. Or stressful to play, rather. It's probably stressful for you guys to watch, but let's move on to the next part of the stream. But W Gaming. So, for this part of the stream, how many videos? I have 2 videos for us to go through. If you guys have anything else you want to watch, you let me know. So, let's make sure I have the desktop audio on. Benson Henderson, that's not a bad pick at all. Yes, sir. Your UFC hot takes for 2026. This is going to be interesting.
It's about that time, man. We're about to be reacting to you guys' hot takes for the UFC in
a reaction of a reaction. We love to see it.
2026. I'm sure most of y'all saw it. We put out a YouTube short. We put out a TikTok video. I wanted you guys to drop your hottest, your spiciest, craziest hot takes for the UFC in 2026. I skimmed through the comments. I picked a couple I liked, picked a couple I don't agree with, just a couple hot takes I wanted to talk about. Like I said, it's going to be fun, man. If y'all want a part 2, drop that in the comments.
I swear, if one of these hot takes are something like, Islam Makhachev is the greatest fighter to ever come out of Russia, or just something so ice cold, someone's getting punched.
If your comment does get selected, man, you should feel special because we picked 8 total comments out of the...
Okay, this is a lot of yap for unnecessary reasons.
Right, kicking things off with the Sea-Dog09. Shout out to Sea-Dog right here. We've got Yuri Prochazka finishes the year with the 205 belt.
Okay, I'm going to give my 2 cents on this. I actually predicted Yuri Prochazka to win the 205 belt by the end of the year because I think Alex is going to move up to heavyweight, and I think that Yuri's probably going to fight Carlos Ulberg or someone for the belt, and I think he's going to win just because Yuri defies logic. Even though I think Carlos Ulberg should beat him, I feel like Ulberg... I don't know. It's just... We're talking about Yuri, though.
How hot is this, guys? How hot is this on a scale from 1 to 10?
Probably a 3 or 4.
I feel like it is hot, okay? It is hot since the current champion at 205 is Alex Pereira, the man who has beat Yuri Prochazka twice before. He's 2 for 2 against Yuri. However, I like this take. Shout out Sea-Dog. Yuri Prochazka finishing the year with the 205 belt is not unlikely. It's unlikely, but it's not the hottest hot take I've ever heard. And it's so...
I wonder if he's going to consider the fact that Yuri might move up. Or not Yuri, sorry. Alex might move up.
Something that I'm going to say I agree with it. I'm going to call it valid, okay? And here's why. Not because I think that Yuri Prochazka beats Alex Pereira in the trilogy. First of all, I don't think that's even going to happen.
No.
Second of all, it is possible. It is possible. But here's what I think is going to happen, and I think this is what Sea-Dog is saying as well. I don't mean to speak for you, but Alex Pereira has made it very clear that he does want to jump to heavyweight. With that being said, that would leave a vacant or interim, probably vacant title, because if Alex does move up to heavyweight, he's probably not going to cut back down to 205. But anyway, if he moves up to heavyweight, that leaves a vacant title between either Yuri, Ankalaev, or Carlos Ulberg. And right now...
And then give it to Yuri and Ulberg because the UFC really does not like Ankalaev. They really do not like him.
If Alex were to do it right now, I think the UFC would book Ulberg versus Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest. Ulberg is good. I'll give him his credit. He's good. City kickboxing stand-up. Yuri beats him, man. Yuri Prohaska actually knocks out Carlos Ulberg.
The thing is that Carlos Ulberg should beat someone like Yuri. He's a far more technical striker, and he's not going to gas out the way Khalil Rountree did. But I think the difference is, like, Yuri defies all logic. It's not because Carlos Ulberg's a bad fighter. It's just Yuri just finds a way, man. Like, I don't know. There's something special about Yuri.
You know, if there's the matchup between Yuri and Magomed Ankalaev, it's a much harder test. But Yuri could do it, man. Yuri Prohaska.
I do favor Ankalaev to beat Yuri, just due to the striking matchup. I think Ankalaev's a better striker.
Prohaska is not to be counted out against anybody unless your name's Alex Pereira. Yuri Prohaska is undefeated against everybody in the UFC, not named Alex Pereira. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give it valid. I'm going to say that I actually agree with this hot take because I do think Alex does move up to heavyweight.
Yep.
And I think we're going to see Yuri versus Ulberg for a vacant light heavyweight title. And I think Yuri Prohaska is going to get it done. All right, man. Before we move on to the next one, y'all be sure to let me know in the comments if y'all.
Let's just move on. Here we go.
Justin Gaethje beats Paddy Pimblett. And hold on.
Oh no! I mean, the thing is, I say we collectively, are all cheering for Justin Gaethje to beat Paddy Pimblett. But we also know that's probably not going to happen.
That's a hot take in itself. It's not a hot take, but it's a bold prediction in and of itself. But it's got a second part, and goes on to defeat Ilya Topuria.
That is crazy. This is literally the type of fight here between Gaethje and Paddy. Is literally the fight to decide who's going to get knocked out by Ilya. That's all it is.
Let me think on this for a second. No, this is invalid, bro. Okay, Paxton, y'all feel free if this ends up aging horribly for me and aging beautifully for you. Feel free to clip it, come back to it. Call me
just because it'll give you attention and views.
Casual, call me out for it. I don't care. But Justin Gaethje, first of all, you messed up. Justin Gaethje is not going to beat Paddy Pimblett. I would be very, very surprised if he does beat Paddy Pimblett.
I would be too.
I'm expecting him to be the underdog. I haven't checked the lines.
I think he's like a 2-1 underdog.
But
I think
it's possible. But to go a step further and say that he beats Ilya Topuria, it's blasphemy, bro. Ilya Topuria is not losing to any striker in his weight class on planet Earth.
Yeah, I agree.
Not in mixed martial arts, bro, okay? Justin Gaethje, I get it, man. He's a marauder, man. He hits hard. He can crack. He's tough. He's durable sometimes. He's not beating Ilya Topuria. He's not.
Bro, even if Justin Gaethje were to beat Paddy, then he goes on to beat Ilya Topuria. There is no shot he beats Armin. Actually, I can't even say it at that, though. At that point, it's like, if he beats Paddy and then beats Ilya, then, I mean, at that point, just say, screw it. He beats Islam Makhachev, too. Not literally, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised at that point.
Not even getting through Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje, we're talking about Justin Gaethje, who is not at the peak. This is not peak Justin Gaethje, okay? He still could be on the back end of his prime. Maybe you could make that argument. He's not beating prime Ilya Topuria. He's probably not even beating a washed Ilya Topuria, okay?
True.
I like the take saying that he beats Paddy Pimblett. However, I disagree with it. But, man, to say that he's going to defeat Ilya Topuria is crazy. But
it's crazy.
The benefit of the doubt, okay? I told y'all to give me your spot.
That's crazy, bro. That is legitimately insane.
Wrong. Just like 2025, not one weight class will have the same champion at the end of the year.
Okay, let's go over this. Flyweight, yeah, it'll have a different champion at the end of the year. Bantamweight, I'm gonna stick with Petr Yan. Featherweight, I'm gonna stick with Alexander Volkanovski. Lightweight, I'm gonna stick with Ilya Topuria. Welterweight, Islam Makhachev. Middleweight, Khamzat Chimaev. Light heavyweight, Yuri Prohaska. And heavyweight, Tom Aspinall.
This is ballsy, man. This is real ballsy.
And I heavy disagree.
I like it. We'll talk about it. I don't agree with it, but this actually, you know what? This is a hotter take than saying that Gaethje beats Topuria and Paddy. I think it is, bro.
They're both delusional is what they are.
Is it? Let me think of the champions real quick. Okay, you're saying that Joshua Van loses the belt. I think that he probably does. Let's see. Petr Yan loses the belt as well. Possible for sure. I think that he might do that as well.
I don't, but I could see how he would.
Moving up, Volkanovski, potential retirement in play, potential getting beat in play. I like that. I agree with that. But then you got lightweight. It's possible.
And the thing is, with lightweight, Ilya is going to fight one time next year. It's going to be against the winner of Patty or Gaethje. Neither one of them are beating Ilya Topuria, in my opinion. So I think he's only going to fight once next year. It's going to be against one of them. And then welterweight Islam, he's far too good. He's way above the weight class. Middleweight Hamzat, far too dominant. Like, those two champions alone, Islam and Hamzat, are just simply too much, and I don't think anyone's going to beat either one of them.
With Ilya Topuria, because he potentially could not come back, but I don't think he gets beat by Patty. I don't think he really gets beat by Justin Gaethje or anybody at 55. Maybe he jumps up to welterweight, so I'll say that is possible. And then you've got Islam Makhachev at 170, who...
Nobody's beating him.
I mean, I know we have a small sample size for the welterweight division for Islam, but he mauled Jack Della Maddalena, who was on an 18 or so fight win streak. Looks unbeatable, but again, it is possible. It's basically like an 8-leg parlay you're trying to submit here.
Man, probably be too risky.
That Islam retires potentially in 2026.
Is there talks of Islam retiring? I haven't heard anything of it.
I hope not, but he's not going down to 155, so I'm going to say it's unlikely that Islam loses the belt. Moving up to 85, Hamza Chimaev, I mean, he's not losing, but he wants to move up to 205. Oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, Hamzat wants to move up, Pereira wants to move up, Topuria wants to move up, and then you've got Tom Aspinall. Does Tom Aspinall get beat?
No.
Does Tommy Aspinall get beat?
The way Tom Aspinall loses his belt is by way of getting stripped because the UFC really just does not like him. I don't want captions.
It's a hot take, man. I like it. I respect it. I don't agree with it. I'm going to say valid, though. I'm going to say...
You can see the logic behind it, though, for sure, for sure. I'll say that much.
Or whatever it is. They definitely could lose their belt. I don't agree with the take, but I respect it, okay? Moving on. Okay. Let me try to say this. Muhammad. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. No disrespect whatsoever. But Islam will end the year as the greatest UFC fighter of all time.
I disagree, only because of the fact that Islam's probably going to fight twice next year. One of those are probably going to be against Kamaru Usman, which will be it'll be a good win, but not the best win. And then his other win will probably be against like Ian Gary or something. I don't think he ends this year's UFC GOAT. Potentially next year though. Next year for sure, probably, but
extremely valid, okay? This is 100% guaranteed. This is 100% guaranteed, okay? And I don't want to say that it's not necessarily a hot take because I don't want my bias to get in the way. I think that there's an argument that Islam's the GOAT already.
I disagree pretty heavily on that. I have him at 5.
Okay? But if he has another strong year, if he adds I don't know, even an Ian Gary, a Miles Morales, I always say Miles Morales, a Michael Morales, or an Ilya Topuria.
Why are we ignoring that Kamaru Usman's probably going to get the next title shot at 170? Why are we ignoring that? Like, we know how Ali Abdelaziz, how much pull he has. Of course, he wants to have that fight between two of people that he manages. He'll make double the money. Like, it's going to probably happen.
What else do you want this man to do? Especially if he adds Ilya Topuria. Case closed. I don't want to hear any other arguments. But Islam Makhachev would be the GOAT. He would have then broken Anderson Silva's 16-fight win streak.
Yeah, but a lot of that wasn't against great competition. Like, I don't know. The 16-fight win streak thing to me doesn't really mean a whole lot. I don't know if it's a hot take or not. Like, it's very good if you're fighting the best of the best every single fight. But for Anderson Silva, I'm not overly impressed by it because, like, he fought some good competition, but not the best competition.
Against the tippity top of competition. I don't know what else you want from the man. This is extremely valid. I absolutely agree. I think that Islam's going to go down as the GOAT. There's going to be people that try to argue, GSP, bro, he was killing these guys in his day. I get it. GSP's a legend. He's top 3. Islam. I think there's already an argument that you can put Islam over GSP,
I don't think there is an argument.
but if Islam defeats Ilia Topuria and / or Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, Ian Gary, it doesn't matter, brother.
It does matter. It does matter who he fights, because that's going to determine GOAT status. You get GOAT status by fighting the best. Beating Kamaru Usman when he's old and washed does not make you the GOAT.
If he breaks that Anderson Silva streak that's been unbroken forever, that seems to be cursed, Islam's the GOAT. And I hope that he retires on top. I don't want this man to stick around, trying to go for 18 fight win streak, 19
I don't like when fighters retire on top. Every single one of them have to lose.
fight win streak and then end up getting slept or something.
If Islam has 2 title defenses, he'll be the GOAT. That really depends on against who. Beating Kamaru Usman does not make you the GOAT. If he beats Ian Gary and a Michael Morales or something like that, then sure. We're having a different discussion. But having Kamaru Usman as one of those will not make you the GOAT, bro. Not at this point in his career.
Something when he's older. But that shouldn't take too much from him. I absolutely agree with this take. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. He's going to be the GOAT, bro. It's just the fact of the matter on whether or not everybody wants to accept it. Okay? Moving on.
But I also compare based on era. I don't think a lot of people do that. But I try to make it fair for all fighters. 10 to 15 years from now, when people are saying, no, it's still Islam. Islam's still the GOAT. Y'all will be thanking me when I say based on era.
We got my boy Zaven. He says, Charles knocks out Max. I don't care.
Chat, what do we think about that? What do we think about that? Do we agree with that? Does Charles knock out Max? No. I think if Charles enters the fire with Max, Max is probably going to get knocked out.
This is bold. This is bold. This is like one of those hot takes that's a hot take, but it's not scorching because Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira are fighting, obviously. I think most of the people are going to be picking Max Holloway, but there's going to be a lot of people picking Charles.
Max submits Charles. True. We all know Max when he deadly submitted Dustin Poirier with the guillotine.
Charles as well, but not by knockout. This is what makes this take hot, I believe. Charles Oliveira knocking out the phenomenal striker in Max Holloway. What do I think? I think it's definitely possible. I think it is very much possible. I don't agree.
No.
It's about.
Why do you think it's possible, though? Max Holloway's got very good boxing defense. The only reason why he got knocked out by Ilia Topuria was mostly due to a footwork adjustment. And, the only reason why he was able to drop Max is because Max was off balance going for a knee. And after that whole thing was done, Max wasn't even unconscious completely. Not really. So I don't know if there's a reason to say that Charles knocks out Max.
I would take, but I don't agree. Okay, I don't agree. Charles Oliveira, however, I mean, outside of Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira is the hardest hitter that Max has fought. I don't want to hear your excuses.
Justin
I don't want to
Gaethje.
hear you in the comments saying, he actually fought the hard-hitting Justin Gaethje.
Oh, well, he did.
Gaethje hits hard, sure.
How's that an excuse? What?
Sure. Gaethje himself will tell you that Charles hits harder, okay?
Charles is more precise of a striker. Gaethje's more power. If Gaethje had Charles Oliveira's position, that would be the new mythical fighter.
Charles Oliveira. Now, he's not as crisp of a striker as a Gaethje or a Max, but in terms of natural power, Charles can crack with the best of them, bro. That's facts, okay? Is it possible that Charles knocks out Max Holloway? Of course. Charles has the power to put out anybody.
I would say it's not likely to happen, if you ask me. But let's move on to the next hot take.
The take, I don't agree, though, okay? Moving on. From Cubics 2245. Alex unironically beats Tom Aspinall by the end of the year, and I will stand on that.
Okay. The more and more I think about it, the more chances I do give Alex Pereira. Stemming off that Ciryl Gane fight where Ciryl Gane was popping jabs at Tom Aspinall. Now, Tom Aspinall was never rocked. He was never in any danger. That is one thing about Tom we really don't know is how good his chin is. He did get hit by Sergey Pavlovich, but not super cleanly. So I think that fighting someone like Alex Pereira would be a huge test. But I also don't think that Tom Aspinall is going to stand very much with Alex Pereira. like he did against someone like Ciryl Gane, because Ciryl Gane doesn't really have power. He's not a powerful heavyweight. He's a technical, precise striker in the heavyweight division, but he's not full of power. He was popping Tom with some jabs. Nothing really that's going to, like, rock you. If Alex hits you, you might go to sleep. And also, Tom Aspinall's going to be shooting more takedowns on someone like Alex. Because, in my opinion, Ciryl Gane's more of a mover than someone like Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira sometimes does have, like, kind of bouncy forward, but it's not super bouncy. Where Ciryl Gane's kind of bouncing the whole time, almost like a karate fighter in a way. He kind of keeps his hands like this, constantly popping you with jabs. He'll go to the knee stomp. Alex Pereira's more jab to the body. You know, he'll throw some jabs to the head. He'll throw some big right hands. He'll throw some calf kicks. And I think that Tom Aspinall is going to shoot really quickly when he fights Alex Pereira, because he doesn't want to mess around with that knockout power, as opposed to fighting someone like Ciryl Gane, where the power is not really that threatening.
Alex beating Tom Aspinall. This is also like a two-part hot take, because first of all, they have to even fight. Alex and Tom Aspinall have to step foot in the same octagon together.
Which I don't favor to happen. I don't think that Alex and Tom are ever going to fight.
Which is already a hot take. But if it does happen, this is weird, bro. This is weird, because if you would have asked me this a few months ago, I would say no chance. Absolutely no chance. Tom Aspinall just going to bulldoze him, run through him, tackle him across the octagon, take him down.
I still think that'll happen. Alex has never fought someone in the UFC as big as Tom Aspinall. How's he going to deal with that size and strength and the BJJ capability of someone of Tom Aspinall?
Smudge him up, ground and pound, or submit him, twist him up into a pretzel. But the more and more fights I watch of Tom Aspinall, the more I realize that he's not unbeatable, okay?
He's not.
Again, he has not been beat technically in the UFC. I know he had that injury. Here comes the hardcores in the comments, bro. But I see Tom Aspinall striking. And, you know, most of the time he's knocking flatlining people out in the first round, but he has holes, man.
Yes, he does.
Defensively, there's a lot of questions, man. The chin is up in the air. He gets clipped. He has not been dropped.
Here's my question as well. If you're Tom Aspinall and you're fighting someone like Alex Pereira, right? If you're, like, fighting him, right? So let's say Tom Aspinall's in his stance. Do you think that he's going to keep his right hand glued to his head like this? Do you think that's a reasonable thing to expect? Or do you think it's still going to be kind of like this out here? Right, where he can go boom, boom with a 1-2 from a distance? Or do you think he's going to keep his right hand up here, just protecting himself from that left hook at all times, making that a non-viable option for someone like Alex Pereira to even go for in the first place? Or do you think he'll just still remain like this? I don't think this is feasible to do something like this for the entire fight, because I think it leaves you open to straight punches. But I would not be surprised if, you know, Tom Aspinall or someone like Ciryl Gane fought like this. Because if Alex Pereira doesn't have his left hook available to him, what other weapons is he going to have to use? Right? That's the question.
You're knocked out yet. But I mean, if you're stepping in there, and I know it's heavyweight, every heavyweight has power, but if you're stepping in there with somebody like Alex who's jumping up, he's going to be quick. He's going to be precise.
Well, Alex Pereira is not really that fast to begin with. Like, let's be honest, when you watch him strike, Alex isn't super quick. It's but you know if he hits you, you're going down, but he's not overly quick.
He's got some of the craziest power we've ever seen pound for pound. If Tom Aspinall makes one little mistake or leaves his chin on a silver platter just for a second, and Pereira catches him, Alex Pereira would be a 3-division champion.
It's possible.
Is that possible? Absolutely. Is that going to happen, though? This is tough, man. This is tough. It's a valid take, bro. It's a valid take. Especially watching Ciryl Gane versus Aspinall. Gane landed some good shots. He's a different type of striker than Pereira. But Pereira can land on Tom Aspinall. However,
yeah, he can.
Tom Aspinall would be fearful of the power of Poatan, not so much of Gane.
But the thing is, like, do you guys think that Alex can knock out Tom Aspinall with one shot? Like, I think he has the power to hurt him, right? I think if he lands that left hook, he can hurt him, right? He drops guys like Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill. He drops fools with his left hook, right? But he didn't knock Magomed Ankalaev unconscious. He couldn't knock Khalil Roundtree unconscious. Is it possible that the size factor could help with Tom Aspinall's durability, and maybe landing that one left hook isn't automatically going to knock Tom out? It's possible.
But can Tom Aspinall bulldoze Alex?
Yes.
Take him down, smudge him up quickly without Alex getting back up to his feet and going to work? I don't know, man. I think Tom Aspinall wins, bro. This is a valid take. I'm going to say that I disagree with it. I'm going to say that I disagree with it.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's a good take, though. That's a good take. That is a hot take.
It's a good
spicy
take. Yeah.
I think that Tom Aspinall would shoot a takedown fairly quickly in the fight. I
Yeah.
think he would be able to get Alex down. I think the size difference is just going to be too much. I get that Alex has showed great takedown defense. You know, he's getting better and better.
But against who, though? Magomedov is not an elite level wrestler. Jan Blachowicz had him down and controlled him for over, 4.5 minutes of the first round of their fight. Like, against who? He hasn't fought a super high level wrestler. I'm not saying Tom Aspinall is, but there is size that plays a factor too.
But he's not fighting 260 pounds or whatever of Tom Aspinall. So I like it, man. I want to agree with it. I'm going to have to disagree, though, okay? Moving on. From Robin, the White House event will feature 2 BMF title fights. A BMF belt will be introduced for the women's.
No. If this happens, the UFC officially has turned into a WWE circus act. And, we all have to stop watching and immediately go watch ONE FC. After hearing that take, I am done with this video. We are moving on. We are done. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Let's just move on. Next video. Who hits harder pound for pound, Ilya or Carlos? Oh, Protest does for sure. For sure. I can remove this video now from my watch later. So, next video. The 3 levels of Dana White privilege from Haparo MMA, man. We love watching Haparo MMA around here. He doesn't rage bait me constantly, so there is that. So let's get it.
So, fellas, I believe there's 3 levels of Dana White privilege in the UFC. Fighters who obviously have Dana White privilege, fighters who get treated pretty neutral, and then fighters that Dana White dislikes. And before we go through some examples, I'm going to go through some factors that determine and what lead to Dana White privilege. So I believe the main factors that lead to Dana White privilege...
Are you a star or not?
...is being Mexican, being an All-American, being a Dana White Contender Series alumni, being a trash talker, having good finishing ability, kind of being associated with the Nelk boy / the whole screaming culture, being English speaking, and having a big following. I believe these are the main factors
being a
that
big
do
star
lead to Dana White privilege when it all adds up. For example, Sean O'Malley, with probably most Dana White privilege in the UFC right now, fits nearly every single one of these categories apart from being a Mexican.
Sean O'Malley's probably Mexican too. Who knows?
Which is, why I think he's got so much Dana White privilege. And you take somebody like Magomed Ankalaev, who has pretty much no Dana White privilege. Dana probably in the UFC probably don't really like.
Yeah, I actually agree with this. Magomed Ankalaev is not going to get a title shot, right? Because people do not like him. Dana White doesn't like him. Armin's not going to get a title shot either. For the same reason. They are some of the best fighters in the division who probably are deserving, especially Armin. But Magomed Ankalaev, nah. Armin, nah. They can go screw themselves.
Like him that much. Fits none of these categories whatsoever. So we're going to go through a few examples, starting off with the type of matchups that fighter gets based off how much Dana White likes them. So
yeah, if he loves you, you're going to get favorable stylistic matchups. You're going to be Alex Pereira in the middleweight division.
Fighters with pretty much neutral Dana White privilege, they don't really dislike the fighters. Dana doesn't dislike the fighters, but he doesn't really give them privilege. They usually get matchups with similar competition. They're not going to get easy opponents. They're not going to get killers. They're usually given fights with similar competition. Fighters who Dana White dislikes will usually be given killers. They'll be fed to the killers, used to build up other fighters. Their purpose in the UFC is to build up other fighters. And fighters with...
Literally a gatekeeper.
Dana White privilege will usually be given favorable fights only. So they'll be given...
Paddy Pimblett? Paddy Pimblett, is that you?
Give them an easy path to the top. Some examples of this...
Oh, that's Chris Moutinho, the Sean O'Malley thing.
Could be Chris Moutinho, a fighter who I don't think really has much Dana White privilege. This guy had to fight Sean O'Malley in the UFC, got battered by O'Malley to build O'Malley up, and then when he came back to the UFC, he got fed to Malcolm Welmick, one of the best bantamweight prospects. Whereas you take somebody like Paddy Pimblett, for example, his entire resume has pretty much...
look at this! Who is he beating? Luigi Vendramini, Rodrigo Vargas, Jordan Levitt? Should have lost to Jared Gordon. Beat Unk Tony, Unk King Green, Unk Michael Chandler. Come on.
Been the easiest path to the...
And now he's getting a title shot!
Title you could have given him. 0 wins in the top 10. beating 40-year-old guys coming off losses, well, not coming off losses for all of them, but, you know, very few wins in most of their recent fights.
Pretty much.
Barely beat Jared Gordon, probably one of the easiest
Should've lost to
fights
Jared
top
Gordon.
out of everybody in the UFC, and that shows why Paddy's got Dana White privilege. So the type of matchups that fighter gets is a really good indicator to if they have Dana White privilege. The next one's going to be how they're treated after a loss in the UFC.
Yeah, if you're Magomed Ankalaev, then you're probably going to have to fight unranked guys 10 times to get a title shot. If you're Sean O'Malley, you can kiss Dana White the right way, and you'll still get an immediate rematch against Merab.
And most fighters, you know, neutral fighters after a loss, they'll usually be given a step down again against pretty similar competition. A fighter who Dana White dislikes will either cut them from the UFC, you've lost, we've got no reason to keep you around anymore, or again, they'll usually be given killers. And fighters with Dana White privilege will just be given a complete layup. An easy way for them to get back in the winning column as simple as possible so they can get back to being promoted.
And this is what people's problem is with the UFC. It's turning into boxing! Do you know why we started watching stuff like the UFC in the first place? First of all, it's a completely more effective sport than boxing. But also, because we wanted to not watch the circus show. We didn't want to watch a boxer who were clearly trying to protect and keep their undefeated record and have them fight the taxi driver from down the street. Instead, we can have a sport where the best fight the best and no one goes undefeated, but everyone in the top 10 are elite fighters and styles make fights and it makes it interesting. Now we have the freaking circus show era. We went from the money fight era to the circus show era.
For example, you know, you can take Cameron Simon. Cameron Simon lost to Christian Rodriguez, and the UFC decided his fate was just to be, you know, a guy to build up other prospects.
But Christian Rodriguez also beat Raul Rosas Jr., so is he not getting special treatment too?
Fed him to pay.
Pretty sure he's fighting Rob Font, or did that get cancelled?
Talbot, who was one of the best prospects in the bantamweight division, and after losing to Talbot, they fed him to Malcolm Wellmaker, and he hasn't been since. So Cameron Simon, after taking the loss, was just fed to the killers, whereas Michael Chandler, I mean, he loses to Dustin Poirier, and then he gets a fucking #1 contender fight in Eliminator against Charles Oliveira, and this was...
I mean, to be fair, Michael Chandler did kind of get screwed over there. I get he gets Dana White privilege, he beats Dan Hooker and gets a title shot against Charles Oliveira, but like... The problem with Michael Chandler's thing was that he was supposed to fight Conor and never got the Conor fight. So I guess he kind of deserved this in a way.
Even before, this was after, Tony Ferguson said that he's got Dana White privilege, and yeah, the way a fighter's treated after a loss, if they're given an easy layup to get them back in the top, or even Sean O'Malley, for example, loses to Merab and gets an immediate title fight with no more fights needed.
I already said that, Hapero. Gee, Burrs, quit copying me.
Whereas, you know, fighters without Dana White privilege, if they lose a fight, they're gone, or they'll have to be fed to a killer to prove their worth in the UFC. And then we've got media attention specifically from Dana White. Now, neutral fighters in the UFC will usually be given generic compliments when brought up, nothing crazy. They'll never usually be talked about outside of their own event, and it'll just be generic compliments. Fighters who Dana White dislikes will usually either be, you know, kind of scoffed at or actually negative things said about them.
The only time that this has been true is when he's talked negatively about Colby Covington and immediately give him a title shot against Leon Edwards. But the difference is that Colby's a decent-sized draw, right? He draws in seats, so that's why he's given the title shot.
In there, but when they're asked about or away from their presence, and fighters with Dana White privilege will just be utter glaze, defending the fighters with his life, whether it's
John Jones!
the title shot that isn't deserved. John Jones, for example, it would just be utter glaze about these fighters with Dana White privilege. For example, he blames Tom Aspinall for the IPOC situation after UFC.
Yeah, he literally said, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about IPOCs? John Jones does it, don't care.
UFC 321, he was in the media blaming Tom Aspinall for getting IPOC, and I do believe Tom Aspinall's one of the fighters that Dana White doesn't really like that much, whereas you look at John...
Because he ran John Jones out the sport.
Jones, on the other side of the spectrum, he glazes John in...
John! John! Like, give it a rest.
Unrelated events. I remember the run he went on in 2025, even events that weren't even to do with John Jones. You had Dana White hyping him up when he weren't even there, so the whole John Jones and Tom Aspinall comparison I think is perfect when it comes to Dana White's media attention. If he doesn't like the fighter, he's going to be downplaying them negative things, and if he loves the fighter, he's just going to be utter glaze defending the fighters with his life, getting mad at the press for suggesting otherwise. Then we've got title shots, the whole title shot situation. Now, neutral fighters in the UFC will usually have to, have to clear out a few contenders and be in a bit of a winning streak to get a title fight, which I think should be the main way of doing.
Like, the neutral parties where every fighter should be. You should never let your own personal feelings get involved in the way of number one contenders.
Doing it, not just handed a title shot, not having to work extra hard for it, just beat a few contenders, be on a winning streak, be a fresh contender, and get your title shot. Fighters who Dana White dislikes need to go above and beyond to even stand a chance. Fighters like Bilal Muhammad, Tom Aspinall, you've got to go above and beyond just to prove your worth. We've seen this with Lerone Murphy now as well. Fighters with Dana White privilege, they'll be fast-tracked to a title shot. Any single excuse, any single opportunity you can have to give these fighters a title shot, Dana White will give it them. It's an easy path to the title shot, fast-track, just like Paddy Pimblett, just like Diego Lopez, just like Sean O'Malley. For example, you look at Tom Aspinall. He had to finish 5 guys in the top 10 in the heavyweight division. He had 5 finishes over 5 guys in the top 10 of the heavyweight division, and he wasn't given a title shot until he fought Cyril Gane when he had to be promoted to undisputed champion. Whereas Diego Lopez is 1-1 in his last 2 fights, and he gets the title shot against the guy he just lost to.
And, like, decisively, too. Like, it wasn't really even close.
Despite there being 2 contenders who are more deserving than Diego Lopez, all because Dana White wants to bring up the Mexican market, so I think title shots are a really good indicator. If a fighter's obviously being given title shots, handed on a platter, easy title fights, it probably means they've got Dana White privilege. And if they're having to work extra hard, like a Bilal Muhammad, a Tom Aspinall, a Lerone Murphy, for example, these guys need to go above and beyond to even just stand a chance. And the only really can really be neutral in this situation is if you're in a division where there's no contenders with Dana White privilege. That's the only way you're really going to get the neutral treatment. Any other fighter, it's either going to be extra hard or it's going to be an easy path to the title shot. Then we've got cards that they're featured on. What type of cards will we see fighters on? Now, neutral fighters will just be on a mix of all types of cards. You can see them on pay-per-views, fight nights, Apex cards. Because they're neutral, Dana White doesn't dislike them nor give them privilege. They'll just be on.
Who do you think is the definition of, like, an Apex Fight Night merchant? Who's on, like, the most random Apex cards that has somewhat of a name? My first thought that comes to mind is, like, Neil Magny. Like, I think he's been on pay-per-views, but every time there's an Apex card and they need a little bit of star power, Neil Magny's on that card, probably.
Any card. Fighters who Dana White dislikes will rarely ever be on numbered cards. There's no reason why Dana would stick them and give them a privilege of a pay-per-view, and it would just be usually, building other fighters on other events if it is on a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and
true.
Fighters with Dana White privilege, mostly on big numbered events. It's very rare you're going to see fighters with Dana White privilege not on a pay-per-view or even on the
Bo Nickel!
main card.
Sorry, I had to cough.
All these fighters on screen, these are fighters with no relevance to the UFC, no star power, no Dana White privilege.
I actually don't even know who some of these people are.
Unknown Apex cards.
I actually don't even know who some of these people are.
Give them the bit of money, give them the minimum exposure, give them the minimum pay, give them the easy opponents just to, add a filler fight to a card, and then once you've had your fun, cut them from the UFC. Whereas you look at these guys on screen, like a Peyton Talbot, a Paddy Pimblett, and O'Malley.
Hey, Bo Nickel!
You're only ever going to see these guys on mega cards. Like, you're only ever going to see these guys on pay-per-view main cards, on, like, the big cards of the year. So, yeah, the type of cards that they're on really show Dana White privilege. If there's a fighter that's consistently on pay-per-views, probably means Dana White likes them. If they're rarely on pay-per-views, they're always kind of on the irrelevant cards or the Apex cards, probably disliked by Dana White and ain't going to get the good treatment. Then we've got the place on the cards. Whereabouts on the card are these fighters? Now, neutral, you'll usually be almost always on prelims. They're not.
Like, what's funny, too? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, on the current fight card coming up next week between Gaethje and Paddy, I'm pretty sure, yes, I am correct in saying this, Umar versus Figgy is on the prelims! A former flyweight champion, former title challenger, on the prelims. Then you look at the main card here, right? Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas are on the main card! Like, are we being serious right now, gang? Are we being for real? Are we being true? What is happening?
No, they don't have the Dana White privilege to get on the main card unless obviously they're a champion or like a top contender, but they'll almost always be on prelims. Yeah, they'll usually be on prelims. Now, fighters that Dana White dislikes are actually on pay-per-view main cards more than these kind of neutral fighters, and that's mainly to build up other fighters, so it'll mostly be prelims, but every now and then You see one of these fighters.
Have you reacted to Lucas Tracy's new GOAT list? Are you talking about that movie he made that was like an hour and a half long? Yeah, I'm not reacting to all that. Ain't gonna happen.
Who Dana White disliked on a main card, but 9 times out of 10, that will be to build up a fighter with Dana White privilege, and fighters with Dana White privilege are almost always on the main card.
Yeah, Peyton Talbot comes to mind. Yeah, Patty Pimblett. People like Bo Nickel specifically. Ugh.
You know, even if they're not even in like the top 5, top 10. They'll usually always be in a main card. They'll be the main attraction. They'll be kind of the guy that Dana White's trying to build on a stacked pay-per-view. They'll always be on a main card. For example, you take Val Woodburn. He's had 2 fights in the UFC. One of them was on the main card to build up Bo Nickel. So even though he had 0 fights in the UFC at the time, he got an instant pass to the main card just to build up Bo Nickel. And then his next fight was on the early prelims because obviously Dana White's built Bo Nickel.
Yeah, like screw that guy. Like, he honestly don't even matter. Lucas Tracy's list was actually really good. Yeah, right. I've never seen Lucas Tracy build a good GOAT list.
He's got no reason to keep Val Woodburn in the UFC. He'll bury him into the early prelims, and I think Val Woodburn's a good example. Whereas you take somebody like Bo Nickel, who finished Val Woodburn, nearly every single one of his fights have been on the main card. His first fight in the UFC, his first ever fight, was on the main card.
Yeah, it was insane. They're trying so hard to push Bo. It's like, it's no wonder Bo Nickel has an ego. If your first fight in the UFC, let's say you become a UFC fighter, and your first fight's on the pay-per-view with a John Jones card, then you're on like an Alex Pereira card, another John Jones card, your ego would be pretty big too, I imagine.
It shows the Dana White privilege of Bo Nickel. He was originally meant to be on the main card of UFC 322 as well until they bunched him down. So you look at Bo Nickel, almost always on main cards.
I bet he was only put on the prelims here too because he lost against Reiner de Ritter.
Is reeking with Dana White privilege. So the kind of area where they are on a card, if they're getting shoved down our throats in the main card, probably means Dana White likes them. And if they're barely on the main cards, they're always on the prelims, probably means Dana White doesn't really like them that much.
Yeah.
Then we've got getting cut from the UFC, the process of getting released.
Oh, if you lose one fight and Dana doesn't like you, not only are you gone, but you're also gonna be shadow banned from other promotions. And if he loves you, then you can lose 12 times in a row. Imagine how many losses do you think Tony could have gotten before leaving?
The fighters with neutrality from Dana White, they'll usually have to lose about 4 to 6 competitive fights, not necessarily.
Wait, who's this? Is this JDS? No. Whose resume is this? Losing to Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Oh, Tai Tuivasa?
In a row, but if they've lost a few fights, they've got a negative win ratio in the UFC, and they've lost about 4 to 6 fights, they'll be cut. Fighters who Dana White dislikes, it will usually only be 2-3 fights or just one major loss for them to get cut. Dana White might sign.
Oh, is that Kron Gracie? Did he get cut? Wait, did Kron Gracie get cut from the UFC? Kron Gracie is a Brazilian-American mixed martial artist. He previously competed in the featherweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, so he got cut. You know what's crazy about Kron Gracie, too? It's like, he was undefeated, I believe, when he came into the UFC, right? He beat Alex Caceres, which is a good win. Then he lost to Cub Swanson, but by all accounts, he gave a good account of himself. And then he lost to Charles Jourdain in that really embarrassing fight, and he got knocked out by Bryce Mitchell. Do you know how, bad you have to be to get knocked out by Bryce Mitchell?
And them to the UFC, feed them to a killer, they'll lose to the killer, and then they'll be gone. But it's usually 2 to 3 fights and they're gone. And then fighters with Dana White privilege, they'll never be cut from the UFC. Simple
Never.
as that. If Dana White likes them, if he's forcing them into a
Conor McGregor will never get cut from the UFC. John Jones would never get cut from the UFC.
star, unless they're going like some mega loser streak, which isn't going to happen because they're going to get easy matchups, they just simply won't be cut from the UFC. For example, you look at this guy, Buzlo, the heavyweight. He got signed to the UFC, lost his first fight, which was quite boring. Dana White didn't really like him for it, and he got cut from the UFC. Dana White didn't really like him. He got signed,
One
lost,
loss
cut immediately. Whereas you look at Michael Chandler, a guy
Michael Chandler's 2-6 in the UFC, by the way.
reeking with Dana White privilege, and despite having a negative win ratio in the UFC, losing 6 fights in the UFC or 5 fights in the
Who's Michael Chandler fighting next? Does he have another fight scheduled? I kind of want to see him get back in there.
UFC, he will never even be considered getting cut from the UFC. Michael Chandler getting cut is not going to be an option. So yeah, fighters with Dana White privilege, not only they're not going to get the option to cut because they're going to get easy matchups to get them back in the winning column, but even if they were losing, Dana would never consider cutting them. They're too much of a valuable asset. But the fighters that Dana White dislikes, 2 to 3 fights, they're gone. Then we've got short notice replacements. Now, neutral fighters in the UFC are most common short notice replacements. Fighters who don't have Dana White privilege, fighters who Dana White doesn't dislike, but fighters who kind of...
That's an insane hairdo here, by the way. That's insane. Can I say that? That's crazy.
Neutral stance around Dana. These were the most common types of fighters you'll see for short notice replacements. Fighters that Dana White dislikes, they usually have no choice but to be a replacement, and they're usually the replacement to build.
Yeah, because haven't we heard of fighters before come out and say that they've been pressured to take fights on short notice, and like Dana will kind of not say they're gonna cut them, but like you might get stripped of the belt if you don't take this fight on this date or whatever. Like Dana's a bit sketchy.
Build up a prospect. Like sometimes you'll see a prospect in the UFC get an easy matchup and their opponent will pull out, and then the guy that they're facing will be an even easier matchup, and a lot of the time if they refuse they get cut from the UFC. So fighters who Dana White dislikes have no choice, and fighters with Dana White privilege, as expected, there won't be risked for short notice battles. Dana's trying to build these fights.
Yeah, you'll never ask Paddy Pimblett to be a short notice replacement, but also because he couldn't make the weight. He gets way too fat.
He likes them. He's not going to put them in a position where they might potentially lose, and therefore they're just not going to be considered for short notice fights. For example, look at this prelim fighter. Do you really think he has any power over the UFC? Do you think if he refused a short notice opportunity, if he's healthy, the UFC wouldn't cut him from the UFC? He has no choice. He has to fight to keep his job. Whereas you look at these guys, they would never be risked on short notice. Dana's trying to build them up to be the next big thing. They're not going to risk them on short notice. It's too much of a risk of them losing, and therefore these guys will never get the cut.
Yeah, you don't put a superstar in on short notice. Don't do it.
All on short notice, even if they're not even in like the top 15. So yeah, the area they are in their career isn't irrelevant. It's all about, does Dana White like them? If he does, they're probably not going to be risked for short notice. If you're just another name on the roster, most likely for short notice. So again, going back to the factors, these are the main factors I think leads to the relevance. Being Mexican, Dana's got some big fetish for the Mexican market, or just to being an All-American. Dana White's obviously obsessed with American politics, so being Mexican-American gives you a huge advantage. Dana White Contender Series, he wants to build up the Contender Series, and obviously any fighter who has success from the Contender Series, because they've been on the Contender Series, they're probably going to get a bit...
They put Pereira on short notice. Not again. They don't call Alex Pereira on short notice with another fighter who's had a full training camp. They both get the same amount of time to train. Pereira doesn't get called into a last-minute fight against Israel Adesanya. That just doesn't happen.
More hype. Trash talker, just because it builds the hype. Finishing ability, builds the hype, fun fighter. And I've said Nelk Boys-esque / being around the streaming culture, because these are the type of fighters that, will be hanging around with like the big social media stars and therefore usually getting more attention. Being English speaking, almost.
Gaethje's going to win by 4th round TKO against Paddy, and you think that Max by 2nd round TKO after dropping Charles? I think he can knock out Charles. I don't think Gaethje knocks out Paddy, but I kind of hope he does, because I'm kind of sick of Paddy's cocky attitude.
Mandatory unless you're Charles Oliveira or Alex, and having a big following is obviously going to help as well. Yeah, I think there's 3 main tiers of Dana White privilege. Dana White privilege himself. Dana White...
Hapero, I think you were way too nice in this video. I think you should have went in and just slayed it. But W video. I do have one thing I want to start doing here to end off the stream, and this is going to be a little bit different. You know how sometimes... Oh, actually, shoot. Do you know how sometimes we play UFC 5 here on this channel? Well, I want to do something kind of similar. Hold on. Just give me a second here. We're going to play a little bit of UFC 5. But, we're going to do a little... not a road to glory, but like we're going to do a little road to Division 20 type deal. Don't worry. It's going to be fun. Although, like, not that anyone's ever had fun playing UFC 5. But I'm willing to suffer for you guys, okay? Just for you guys. So I'm going to get this all set up here. I got a question. Well, I probably have an answer. So let's hear it. Actually, I can probably take these off now. Headphones are making me look kind of goofy. I'm not going to lie. I just want to get all signed in here. Jan hasn't defended the belt a single time, but his resume is really good. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's true. His resume is really good. I don't think he's top 10 all time. I think Petr Yan is like top... Is Petr Yan top 15? Probably. Okay. Gaethje should retire if he wins the title. Retiring at the top of the game is the way. If he beats Paddy, well, he still has to fight Ilya, right? he basically defended against Aljo. Yeah, but he did cheat in the fight. Right, he did cheat in the fight. How much time do you spend making UFC content? Good question. Every day, I make 6 shorts in total, which take about 45 minutes to an hour probably to make all of them. And then these YouTube videos, like, they don't take overly long to make. They don't take overly long to make. There we go. How quickly can I get to Division 20 on EA Sports UFC 5? Well, today we're going to find out. We're going to find out. I have 10 days to get to Division 20 on this account. Let me just show off real quick. Oh, crap, I can't even showcase it. I am Division 0 right now. Alright, there we go. It says it on the bottom there. I am Division 0. We're starting our first fight off in the welterweight division. So I'm going to try to make this interesting by picking 4-star fighters or less. So let's start off with Conor. Alright, I'm not the best Conor McGregor player in the world, but this should be interesting, and he's going with. Okay. Apparently this guy did not get the memo. Okay, yeah, use Nate Diaz. Yeah, that should be interesting. This should be interesting. Let's do this. Man, you guys are going kind of crazy, not gonna lie. Alright, let's do this. The trilogy that we're never going to get in real life. Here we go. Touch gloves.
Today, how good is this? Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor. The question beckons, though, will this fight look different than the previous two?
Well, it has
so I immediately am just looking I want to be the one to set the pace.
Conor was able to knock him down on a number of occasions because he could not get out of the way of the left hand. Nate needs to learn to move, and I love the adjustment of McGregor in fight 2 by going to those leg kicks that he did not have in the first fight.
Let him work a little bit early.
Early in the fight here, Nate Diaz off to a pretty good start, found a hole for that left hand.
I mean, it is powerful. It does not seem like Nate is going hard, but he always finds his targeting very accurate with that straight left hand. So he kind of feeds the right hand to get you moving where he wants, and then bang, he dropped that straight left one that hurt so many. Hurt Conor McGregor, and he hurt the welterweight champion Leon Edwards in the same way.
Oh, roundhouse kick lands.
Caught the kick.
Nope, we're defending that takedown.
He saw that strike coming and now works it into a takedown. So now he has the fight to the canvas. Let's see what he can do. Push kick there to the body. Nice strike by McGregor there.
I mean, Conor McGregor is a fantastic striker, and once again,
nice inside leg kick
there.
So I'm just trying to manage the distance, but because Nate has a reach advantage,
just out of range with the big right hand.
Nope, we're defending that takedown.
Stuffs the takedown, no problem.
Alright, let's take his back.
Oh, he's got his
see
back.
If I can, no.
He's got to get him in the air.
McGregor's bleeding from the mouth now. A cut there on his lip. That doesn't look
He landed that massive shot. Now he needs to try to find the next shot, follow-up shot that will finish the fight.
He's not really moving his head all that much.
Nice job by the fighter here to continue to block the shots coming his way. You think he's trying to sort of fatigue his opponent here a little bit?
He's kind of watching and seeing everything that's happening in front of him. Later, you'll see him counting after blocking shots. Oh, hurt him.
Diaz's lower jaw does not look good. I don't think it's broken, but starting to show some obvious signs of swelling.
I don't know why Conor's kicking was so awkward in this game.
Oh, effective strike there by McGregor.
I don't know what happened there. I couldn't move my head. You know what I just realized? I feel like my grappling settings are all messed. I feel like we're still set on those beginnings.
And able to avoid the punch there. Nice slip by McGregor.
Trying to get Nate all cut up.
Back to the jab now. Big elbow there, lands.
I know he's looking for that uppercut. Rocked.
Maybe time to get the bonus checks ready.
I mean, this fight is about done. He's got to
beat up his body a little bit down the round. That round's 100% my round. saving enough money to donate the zone so we can get him stream more often. Don't ever feel obligated to. Don't ever feel obligated
McGregor's
to.
corner has some work to do. They're going to take a look at that.
Yeah, you
lip.
guys are
Hopefully
still
the cut man
talking
can do
about
his thing and
stuff.
just make sure that it doesn't
I'm staying out on
continue to
this.
bleed
I'm
and
staying out on this. I don't want
provide
Peter yell in top
further
10,
for him in
but
this
I'm letting you
fight.
guys have your little discussion.
And just like
Okay,
that, here we
it's
go
just
with
better
round
that way.
2. Nate Diaz against that man. You might recognize him. He is Conor McGregor. All right, next round
on,
is
buddy.
now underway.
Thank you so much for
Hopefully the
watching.
action
Thank you.
continues at a high level. Pretty good first 5 minutes.
Pretty good first 5 minutes. Both of them can really
attack the
pick it
leg.
up. Let's see who decides they're going to lead the dance as we go forward.
Oh, these
He's
leg
not
kicks
checking.
are really starting to pile up in this round as he continues to beat up that leg of his opponent.
He's not checking him.
Outstanding kick there by McGregor. Oh, defense into offense there.
The thing is, I have to be all the way in
and counters with a
or
perfect
all the way
jab.
out of range.
You know what's crazy? It was like in MMA back in the day, guys didn't jab enough. It was all power shots.
That
Now
fault,
you see
that
guys
one he
so
checked because I didn't
educated
set it
with
up.
that jab, that front hand.
Both fighters hanging down in the pocket and both landing.
Oh.
And there it is again. Targeting
Man, I'm
that
gonna
swelling.
slowly
Why would you
break
not,
him with
right?
pressure.
You doled out all this damage. Might as well go right back to it.
Well, especially if your opponent is not going to move his head.
That's right. That's right.
Back to his feet.
Freaking Nate Diaz fashion.
Well, I'm no fighter, but if I rock a guy to that extent, I feel like I'm closing the show.
Absolutely.
I don't know
You
how
gotta
he's
go
outspeeding
close
you.
the show if you get a guy hurt that bad. You cannot back off.
That was nice. That was beautiful.
Bad here.
God, crap.
As his opponent postures up, he opens it. Oh, great ground strike there. And now, what is a factor? Heel hook looks tight. Oh, how good is that as he
Okay,
gets
Clayton's
out?
very smart.
That is great submission defense, keeping everything
Fighter
short
total.
and not allowing the opponent to get the submission victory.
That leg kick lands. Just over 2 minutes to go.
Oh, you hurt him again.
I'm kicking him!
Strike lands. Big strikes
No way.
continue
No
to
way.
land.
I don't know where the grappling heart is.
It seems as though his sole focus is attacking that cut, and man, it's getting bad now. A lot of blood flowing.
Yeah, and he should. He
Back up to
should
the
be
feet.
focused on
So I don't have
keeping that
the,
cut,
grapple
making his
system.
opponent pay. He did the work. He opened up the
So I
cut.
just want to take
now
seconds.
it's on him
Chill out.
to continue. What a fight. Both of these guys are trying to win.
You know what? You want to go to the ground? I'll go to the ground.
Oh,
Boom!
heavy
Get him out of
shots
there!
raining down.
Big win! Let's go! Woo! How do we do it? I'm literally trying to skip. Look at this. I'm trying to skip this crap. Oh man, Conor got
Well, he's going to
busted.
enjoy watching this one.
Conor got busted. Brother. Oh my gosh, let's go on to the next game. That was insane, brother. That was insane. Let's not use Conor again. You know, Conor feels so sluggish and slow in this game. Conor feels so sluggish. But don't worry, we're gonna keep going and try to keep it 4 stars or less, like I mentioned earlier. So we got featherweight. So who's a featherweight fighter that I could use? I'm thinking Frankie Edgar. I might use. Actually, no, I'm not. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that fight. That ping was way too high. Way too high. I am not trying to get a loss due to lag. Featherweight again. I would say Josh Emmett, but he's gonna go with Max Holloway. So who I pick here? Hold on, gang. Giga. Let's go Giga. Let's do it. I need someone who I can kick with relatively well. Here we go!
Well, he turned
Let's see what I can do with Giga here. So we got the 5-star version of Max.
Realized UFC success at one point, 10 consecutive wins in the UFC. Realized the UFC world title. This man has knockout power plus submission skills as well. But perhaps his biggest asset is self-belief and his toughness. Those should be big for him in this particular matchup tonight. Oh, and another leg kick lands flush, and now you're starting to see visible damage on that lead leg of his opponent.
Visible damage, and you see him start to make mistakes now in his defenses because
His opponent could be out of here soon, DC.
he's almost done. I mean, when you get hit with a shot like that, you don't know whether to run, hide, grab, or wrestle. He's
still not checking him, though.
He's as confused as he was on his first test in elementary school.
Oh, jeepers. Ready for this?
A little block the punch there. Always bleeding from the mouth, Daniel. Looks as though there's a cut on his
close, brother.
Thankfully, he's a lot tougher than oh, how good was that flying knee? Hard shots landing on both sides here.
Hook kick.
All right, so an opportunity goes by the boards. He had him stunned, nearly finished.
Bro, look at his left leg.
Now he's got to be feeling everything that he's bring at him. He should have got the fight finish at that time.
You know why this jab becomes so much more
He's in
effective?
trouble.
It's because he's so worried about the leg kick. Boom.
Slips the shot. Shikaze's pretty
Remove the
swollen
flying
now in
knee
that
at the
jaw
same time.
area. It doesn't appear to be affecting him all that much, but he's absorbed a lot of strikes to the head. Got to figure out a way to raise the guard and be more defensively sound.
Just do even a little bit of leg damage. Even with a knee
Oh,
stomp.
that's a beautiful land downstairs with the kick. Well, he is at his kickboxing best tonight. Another nice, good series of kicks by him.
I mean, the kicks are coming in bunches. Normally it's the hands. Tonight he's going kick after kick.
And in front kick there by Holloway.
Brother's just spamming. Oh.
And now his
Brother's
opponent
just
in a
spamming
world of
these
trouble.
Such a sneaky head kick. He did not recognize it from high, and now he's got him hurt bad. Leg kick lands, my favorite strike.
Boom! Oh my gosh! The way he literally leaped into that head kick, brother. That was insane from me.
Just the way he drew it up. He found the opening.
How do I do it? Look at this!
Nice.
No! Oh, look at the blood leave his mouth. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy when they ain't got no idea what you
That is insanity, man. Let's move on to the next fight. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro. Do we think I can get to Division 20 in 10 days? I mean, I think it's possible. A welterweight fight, so I'm not using Connor again. 4-star fighter? Let's go with Pettis. Someone suggested Pettis? Let's go Pettis, brother. Let's do it. Can you do a video of your 5 most wanted prelim fights? Wouldn't really be an interesting video, to be honest. I don't think that people care to watch that. Also, like, prelim fights, I feel like no matter what fights I pick, people would say that doesn't belong in the prelims.
Ready to fight? Ready.
Here we go. Anthony Pettis versus Carlos Prates.
Has been as a first-round stoppage machine. More than a dozen first-round finishes to his credit. He'll be looking to add to that total here tonight. Tried to go to the body, but unable to connect. Oh, great execution on the feet there by Anthony Showtime Pettis, DC. It hasn't taken him long to find the range here. Punches in bunches as he lands another combination there. Really doing a nice job.
He's
doing a great job of stringing the shots together and also just mixing up the target and the attacks. Great job finding different places for his strikes.
The thing is, using Anthony Pettis, like the fact that I'm mostly a kicker and I have to try to get into close boxing range in order to do my damage.
Slips.
Landed a good uppercut there.
He's making me look like Prime Muhammad Ali out here.
Try to establish that jab. Oh, big head kick there. 3 minutes now
Go back
to
to
go
the
in this one. Starting to do some really significant damage to the body. How about the accuracy right there? His opponent's wobble check.
He's hurt bad. He cannot take another shot like that.
Gee, Burrs, man. You see the head movement?
He's not okay.
Look at that stamina, brother.
Well, defense doesn't necessarily win championships in MMA, but
Gosh, man. I kind of feel bad.
under 2 minutes to go.
I don't know how you do the Shohan
first
kick.
round here.
Boom! That's me! I'm the ore farming merchant. Dang, brother. What?
Blood, ladies and gentlemen, it looks as though that shot has
Am I doing
Now we're in
it?
a fight.
Let's
Now
go.
we're in a fight.
Oh
John.
my gosh.
Got the blood flowing. Guys got a cut. Let's see how this fight plays out going forward. Way to test the chin there. Landing a beautiful combination to the head.
And just
Boom! Carlos pulling guard and butt scooting.
30 seconds to go. Pretty good execution for him there on the side kick, DC.
Just really feeling himself. One of those traditional martial arts techniques.
I kind of feel bad.
Archer, there's the horn at
End of the first round. How many strikes do you guys think he hit me?
To see another round, you saw him get
12.
knocked down near the
He
end
went
of the round.
12 for
If there were 10
78.
more seconds,
You know why
that
he went
likely
12 for
would have been the end of
78?
this night.
Because he wasn't going for body shots. He
All right,
wasn't
there's the end
really
of the round.
going
We'll
for
show you
leg
some of the
kicks. Look at this
highlights.
kick.
It must feel pretty damn good
Boom!
down like that.
It What? feels good to knock a man down.
You would
And
think
most
you're
times
playing
you
a
don't
game
even
of
feel
Call
it.
of Duty.
It's the ones that you don't even recognize
this.
that landed hard
Oh,
are
that's-
the ones that usually put your opponent out. It
Oh
landed
my gosh, 10 ain't me. If that's not a 10 ain't me, then I'm calling Dana White myself and demanding my Dana White
Second round
privilege.
underway.
Like, what are you doing?
Head kick partially blocked.
Go back to that body kick. Right? That
Keeps going
body
back
kick
to
is
that
so
jab,
successful. Look at
keeps
this.
throwing that jab, but unable
But look
to
at
land.
this. Jan takes him down. That's a Joe
beautiful
Rogan
body
reference for
kick
those of
lands
you who
right
don't
under the
know.
elbow.
GG's. GG's.
I mean, you gotta be kidding me with that.
I mean,
knockout.
it is what
That's
it is.
not the number one play on Sports
It is what it is. But
tonight.
it will
I'm
not let me
sure
skip
what
these
we're
freaking
calling one of
cutscenes.
the best
I
knockouts
get it.
we've seen
I'm
all
so
year.
good.
Very long time. I have
look,
not
not
seen
even a
someone
scratch on
look
his
this
face.
Good. He promised us something.
Carlos can start gardening. That is probably the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. He died. Yeah, he passed away. OMG, it's LOL. Wait, savage? I don't even want to say savage. That's insane. Bro went 12 for 82 on strikes, which means he was 12 for 78 after 1, which means he missed all 4 of his strikes in the second round. That is crazy. And it's not even that I'm amazing with my striking defense in this game. Strawweight, are we being serious? Can I just close the app and restart it? Are we being for real right now, EA? Are we being serious? Oh, we're being serious. You're telling me I have to do this. I guess I'm into He-Boss, if we're going to use a 4-star fighter. This is going to be interesting, alright? If I get schooled here, don't expect me to be surprised.
You ready to fight? Ready.
Alright, let's go. Round number 1.
Back in Rio de
What can I do with Amanda
Janeiro,
He-Boss?
truly an MMA hotbed, this UNSC arena has been a host to any number of different historical moments in
I
the
don't know.
UFC, and we have some more UFC history here tonight, champ.
In one of the biggest moments for women Brazilian fighters, Amanda Nunes fought there
Okay,
and
it's a little
retained
bit
her title. Jessica
angry,
Andrade knocked out Rose Namajunas to become a UFC.
Okay. He means everything I want to me.
She's getting up. Yep.
Let's just try to play smart for now. Let's just be patient.
Wow, what a kick!
Beautiful right knee lands to the head.
Big head kick!
Try to be patient. Go for that calf. Cheapers. I thought he was going to go for a lead hook.
Really nice job blocking that shot.
Everything I go for, he's just immediately throwing something else entirely. He's doing the thing that I just didn't expect.
Kibas is swelling now around her jaw, so we'll keep an eye on that storyline as this fight continues, but she has absorbed a lot of strikes to the head thus far.
There we go. Throw a nice little...
And they clinch.
There we go.
She's a
We will avoid that head kick. Now we're taking him down. Women's MMA is so unnecessary. I agree. I don't even know why we have it, to be honest with you.
Try to take her down to the mat.
But game's the game, so he's probably going to quit. Here, watch this. I'm going to go into sprawl.
Oh, nice.
I just want to punish his body.
Well, I think if I was a fighter, I'd probably be a headhunter, but she is not that, right?
Because
she's
now when he gets
invested in
back up to
body,
the
and she's
feet...
done some pretty significant damage to her opponent.
Okay, well, I have to do it to you. I'm
You know,
so
you
sorry,
start to...
brother.
Kibas has got the head. Let's see if she can finish off this guillotine attempt.
I'm so sorry.
Now she's got it.
Gonna choke you. We're gonna compromise your stamina.
Oh, she gets out.
She did a very good job of staying
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
in a very tight guillotine attempt. What a beautiful job.
Dang, brother. No, sir.
Oh, postures up and delivers a big ground and pound strike to the
shoot.
head. Nicely done there by Kibas.
Yeah, you ain't getting back up. I feel like this person has zero concept of how to grapple. Even their striking
Half guard position for
completely
her
caught me
here,
off
and if you're the
guard.
bottom fighter, this
Just
is
throwing
truly a
the
case
most
of
wild
pick
stuff,
your
but it was
poison.
working.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison. And if you're on the bottom, you got to be trying to find a way to escape.
Amanda, do you literally have nothing? Yeah, he rage quit. Yeah, he rage quit. He was doing the most wild stuff out there, and it was legitimately working for him. Let's move on to the next fight. Oh my goodness. Do not color me surprised if I win this fight and I'm immediately up to Division 15. Probably do one or two more before we call it a stream. I'm thinking. Featherweight division again. Okay, this time we're going to go with Pettis. We're going to go with Anthony Pettis again. But this time in the featherweight division. Ooh. Who's he going to use? That's what I want to know. He's going to use Hanato Moicano. Yeah, this guy's getting schooled. Seeing a woman mount another woman is weird. You said it, I didn't. Don't cancel me.
Ready. Ready.
Here we are.
All right, with all
Let's do
that
this.
noise, we are underway. Great to have you with us as always.
I did not mean to do that.
Tonight from the famed United Center here in Chicago, Illinois.
You know, as a kid, I just dreamt
So
of
immediately
nights
body,
at
legs.
the United Center in Chicago,
The usual drill.
watching the Bulls. You have seen so many championships won
I just wanna compromise
in this
a little
arena. The fight fans are in for something big, and the fans are always rowdy here in Chicago.
Move around a lot. Give me that leg. Give me that leg. Alright, now you give me an avenue to escape up this way. We're gonna switch stances. Alright, go up this way. I really don't want to be going this way, though. I really don't want to be going to
Circling away towards the left now. Nice land there with the front
This.
kick early in the fight by the kickboxer. The BJJ fighter now has something to think about as he tries to get this fight down.
It's a beautiful way to keep him off you.
We're just trying to fight smart.
Keep him at distance, not allow for him to even get those takedown
I
starts.
keep thinking he has a hook kick. That's what I keep trying to throw.
Oh, it's had a massive knee to the head. Could be in trouble here. Well, that'll quiet the storm. Shot blocked by Moicano. Oh, solid kicks are landing. He has most certainly found the range on the feet. Looking for the trip here in the clinch, but great balance by him to avoid it. All right, so some definite damage underneath the elbow now on the side of his opponent. A lot of strikes to the body starting to add up.
Yeah, a lot of strikes to the body and mixing up the attack, not being one-dimensional, not head.
You ain't taking me down, brother.
I think he is fought.
Jair and Edson Barboza. I'm not going to use Jair because he's a 4.5-star fighter. I'm trying to use only 4-star fighters.
Big shot to the body.
Nice crack there.
Okay, I'm switch stances here.
Just over 2 minutes now to go. Oh, he lands another strike to the body, really starting to connect on a lot of shots to the midsection, and these will take their toll as
Get
this
away
fight
from me.
goes into the latter
Alright,
round.
look at this. Look at this distance management. Hey, my brother just almost dislocated my elbow. What do I do? Go see a doctor. Boom! Rock on.
Back to the feet now.
Go tell your parents. You snitch.
That's a pretty scramble right there. Beautiful transition. Good series of kicks by him there, DC. He certainly has that part of his game going tonight.
He's a fantastic kickboxer, but tonight is the kicks that's lead the dance.
Oh,
Nice try. Elbows on. It's just games, bro. Dang, bro. People will see me play video games and they immediately leave, bro. That's why I don't play games on stream. Nobody wants to watch it. People only want me to be reacting to stuff. Which is fine, I can do that. Boom! Again.
Final seconds of round one.
Making me a little bit of a stamina from coming back.
Round two straight ahead.
Round one goes to me.
All right, good news is the round is over. Bad news, Moicano's corner now. All right, so a high-level round there for him. We'll show you something.
Ooh. Round number 2.
Ready.
All right, round 2. Big power shot there. Now he gets a more dominant position with the underhook.
He is going to start to drive knees over and over. You got to be careful here. You got to move. Look at that switch knee. Beautiful switch knee.
Massive right hand.
Boom! What do we think? Boom!
Oh, high kick.
Strong outside leg kick. And now leather.
Boom! Really? Trying to punch me in the back of the head while I'm not looking? Get out of here!
That was just a gorgeous shot to end the fight right there. I'm not even sure the opponent really saw it coming.
That's so
back
funny.
To the drawing board for
Bro
him,
went face
but for the
down,
winner, this
ass
is
up.
certainly exactly what he was looking for here tonight.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Boom! Oh, I want to see him go face down, ass up again. That is so funny. That is so funny. But we're going to end the video there. Actually, before we do, let me just see. Let me see what division I got. Oh, it's not going to tell me here. Okay. All right, let's check the ranking on here then. I'm Division 15, so for the next episode of this, should be interesting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And chat, we're gonna end the stream right there. I hope you all had fun. Try to do a stream on Wednesday, but yeah, hopefully your arm gets better, man. That's unfortunate. Do I even want to know how it happened? Probably not.